5 surprising toys that you can use in feeding therapy or just with your picky eater. The first one I'm going to start with seems so simple, but it's always a game changer for me. It's just a bunch of buckets and balls that I get from orientaltrading.com. You can get them at the dollar store too, or if you're going into a family's home, most people have some paper cups or maybe some sand buckets, maybe a few random little balls hanging around, or you could throw a few of these in your pocket too. But I love these little squishy smiley face balls to set the mood. And all I do is I place these buckets all around me on the floor when I'm working with the child. And then I literally have probably 30 of these balls so that when the child does what I ask them to do, like, oh, we're going to lick carrots, or we're going to crunch on carrots, or we're going to roll a blueberry, I get to hand them one of these balls and then they toss it and try to get it in one of the buckets. Doesn't really matter if they do. You can certainly give them a little prize if they do, but it's more for the fun of it. Why do I love this so much? Because you never have to take the toy away from the kid. You hand him the ball, he tosses it, time for the next task. You can get a lot of, for lack of a better word, drill when you're working on certain skills like chewing or licking, whatever it happens to be, in a really fun, rewarding way. Plus, it's so easy for parents to come up with things like this in their home. So you can show them how to do their home program as well, using really simple, fun reinforcers so that the kids look forward to doing their homework. So that's one. But another tip too, because if y'all know me, I get kind of goofy with my kids, is just to take a bowl. It's just a paper bowl. We've all got these hanging around. And I just run a ribbon through it and I stick it on my head, tie it under my chin, and the kids have to throw the ball and try to get it in the bowl. And of course, I'm dodging it as we go. And mostly I'm getting hit in the face a lot, but that's pretty reinforcing right there. Okay, let's talk about another paper product too. Almost everybody has a paper plate in their home. And a lot of people have a glue stick, maybe some Elmer's squirty kind of glue if you want. All you do is take your glue stick and let the kids scribble all over the paper plate. Then after they do what you ask them to do, like maybe we are going to do a little bit of oral motor work and we're just working on being able to lateralize their tongue. So we work on right, left, and then what I do is I hand them some spices. Now, if anybody looks in their spice jar tonight, their spice cabinet tonight, you're going to find spices that are so out of date and really should be pitched. Save them just for this activity because the kids get to take the top off, and because there's glue on your paper plate, then they sprinkle onto the glue and it'll make a design. Plus they get to get the aroma of the spices as well. So you could use oregano or basil. I've got pumpkin pie spice here, whatever you think your kids might enjoy. And you can make some really fun pictures that way. You can just do it on paper if you want to too. I just like a plate better because it has a little more substance to it. So super inexpensive, fun things that are not an iPad. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Another fun one that you can make right away at home is all you do is just get any sort of plastic container. This happens to be one that I had from some sun butter on the go, little single cups of sun butter. And I just took my scissors and poked holes in the top. You could use a hole punch if you wanted to. And then I load all the holes with pipe cleaners. Inside my container, I've got a prize for the little kiddo. And so what we're going to do is we're going to practice something. Let's say that I'm working on tongue clicks in order to get a little bit more mobility of their tongue. So every time they go, they get to pull out a pipe cleaner. So pull it out, pull it out. You get 5 in a row and they all come out. You could let them save them to build something with you after you're done, right? Or you could say, let's do 2 more and then we'll see what's inside. So they do 2 more, and then when you open it up, there's a prize in there for them. I usually, when I'm getting my prizes for kids, I'm on a budget. So the day after Halloween, I go to the store and I load up on any sort of prize or treat that is for trick-or-treating, but it's not candy. So these are Wiki sticks, and I currently have 90 or so of these in my toy cabinet. Every age loves them, and then we can play with these too. Or you could load the container itself up with the Wiki sticks instead of the pipe cleaners. So just get creative. If you are not allowed to bring toys into the home because perhaps you're working in early intervention, these are the sorts of things you can find in the recycling bin. So think about it the day before. Ask the parents, can we look in your recycling bin? Or can we look in your trash even? It's totally fine. Or maybe in the pantry where perhaps there's just one little thing of sun butter left and you could use this. And then say, would you save this for me for next week? I've got an idea. And the parents will. And then you're showing them how to take inexpensive objects and containers at home and turn them into toys that the kids have never seen before. Gets the parents a little bit more involved, and it's just fun. It's just fun. Then finally, one of my favorite things to do, I was just doing this today with a kiddo, is to take any sort of container. Like it could be an ice cube tray, it could be a popsicle mold, that would be fine. This is one of those little silicone containers that we just make baby foods out of. We load them up with baby food, put the lid on and freeze it. Okay, but this works great for trying new bites. Now, this little kid that I was working with today, he has quite a bit of new foods, but just for fun, we were doing a red theme. So we did apple slices, beet chips, that's a dried cherry, and then it's a little hard to see. I don't want it to tip. Right there is one red M&M, just for fun, Okay, so what I've got here for him is I have one highly preferred food. That's the M&M. I have a semi-preferred food. Those are the beet chips. And then I have 2 semi-preferred foods, the beet chips and the cherries. And actually, the brand new food that he's never eaten before is the apple. And you're only going to give him something that motorically he's capable of trying. And it might be that we're just going to lick it today. It might be that we're going to bite it. Depends on the kid. But how do you get him to do it? Well, it's so fun. Think about this flower shape and the center, all right? What I do, I'm going to set it down for a second so you can see this fun spinner. You can get a dice. You can get any sort of spinner that you make on your own, but these electronic spinners come from Super Duper. I bet you guys have all seen these before. They last forever, and the cool thing about them is when the kid gives it a push, it's basically Vegas for toddlers. Then it comes around and, oh, they got a 3. So what they're going to do is they're going to pick whatever food they want. They'll probably start with the M&M, and then from there, they're allowed to go 3 spaces in any direction. So they could go 1, 2, 3. They could go 1, 2, 3, whatever they want to do, because they'll really take a look at the foods. They'll figure out maybe the best way to hop there. And it keeps their anxiety down because they're thinking through the process. And it's just so fun. So fun. And then you just keep going that way. If you want, you can keep adding new foods if you think they're having a good time. Or you could just say, we're going to do this tray and then we'll be all done. Because this looks reasonable. It looks underwhelming to kids. It's not that many bites, yet you're going to build some consistency with them. So I would say this is one of my favorites. And the other thing I love this for is if you have a kid that you're working on fork skills. Here, let me show you. Let me grab a little fork here. Grab a fork out of my desk drawer because, that's what I keep there. Some people keep pens, I keep forks. And so if they're working on fork skills, this works out fabulously because they've got the barrier so that they can reach in and fork something. And they've got a little bit of barrier here to provide some support so they can pull it right out, just like an ice cube tray. I'll be sure when I post this to YouTube to put the videos about ice cube trays up in the corner for you as well. Speaking of, the last tip is kind of based on Facebook Live that we did last week, and it's all about eggs. Last week we talked about what you can do with all these leftover eggs that we've all got around hanging around right now. And for sure, there are so many ideas in that particular video. So I'm going to post it right here for you on YouTube. Make sure that you're subscribed to my YouTube channel so that when I edit this down, you'll get periodically YouTube videos popping up in your email that you can watch at your leisure, share with clients, share with family and friends, whoever you'd like to. They're all about 10-minute long, so they're easy to watch, and hopefully they'll give you some good ideas.